It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, January 11th. So we have the moon in Virgo all day, definitely trying to help us stay in the present moment, figure out some of the complicated topics and themes going on in our inner realm. We are looking to create order out of some of this chaos. We are definitely looking to put things in its spot. We are analyzing things, especially in our heart space. We are trying to help and fix and solve some of the issues that have been weighing on us very, very heavily. And as Mercury does rule over Virgo energy, and Mercury is currently retrograde, there's going to be a lot of inner realm processing going on. So we definitely have a lot of, I'm going to say, focus on trying to solve some of the problems that we've definitely been illuminated to, especially since the full moon in Cancer. Today is also the last day before Mars actually goes direct. Take a listen to that astro forecast that I put out there so that you can prepare for this sudden jolt of energy forward. It's definitely going to be a welcomed shift, a welcome change for us to dive into. And for those of you that are all up in the numerological portals, I suppose today would be a 111 portal. You know how I feel about the portals. There's definitely zero alignments going on. Yes, we are in a solar flare shit show, but that doesn't mean that there's some kind of alignment going on in the cosmos. Numerology is great. However, I don't know how much energy we are willing to give the fact that our false calendar tells us that it is the first month, the 11th day. That is up to you. Align with your intuition, with what it is that you want to pour your time, energy, attention into, because what you focus on is what is your reality. So I'm going to leave that one up to you. Speaking of 11, there are 11 different aspects here today. 8 of them involve the moon. So the moon is going to get into the boxing ring with Mars. Let me just tell you, we have a pretty tough start to the day with multiple squares. The first one being the moon squaring Mars. Now, this is definitely kind of putting us in a cluster F of a situation because Mars is giddy. He's ready to jump the gun. He's ready to move forward, but it ain't time for that yet. What we got to do is we got to take a moment and really analyze where it is that we've been torn on certain ideas, choices, decisions. Mars's whole retrograde was supposed to force us into the intellectual battlefield to really review what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that actually deserves our time, energy, and focus. And right now, we may not be as focused. We may not have a plan or a strategy like we should as we anticipate this sudden jolt forward. Venus is going to square the true node. This isn't going to feel very good. Venus, of course, in Aquarian energy is struggling with her want, need, and desire to connect for that intimacy, yet wanting her own independence, wanting a little bit more freedom. Yes, she's been experimenting. Yes, she's been recontemplating what it is that makes her happy, what it is that brings joy and pleasure to her life, where it is that safety, security, stability may not be as strong and as solid as she would prefer, especially in certain relationships. And this is pushing us to look back instead of forward. The true node is our soul path, our destiny point, trying to get us on the right path in order to move forward. However, it feels like we're hung up on some things. And with Mercury still retrograde, Mars retrograde, we are definitely more set to look back than we are to look forward. We are questioning our emotional wants, needs, and desires at this particular point in time, and it does not feel good. We may have to look back in order to analyze what it is that we no longer want to experience or align with in order to figure out a framework on what it is that we need to create in order to fill the voids that we are being illuminated to. Mercury is going to go ahead and square Chiron again. Square, square, square. Fight, fight, fight. Tension, tension, tension. What do we learn from this? We learn where change is needed. Now, Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, ruler of communication, retrograde in Capricorn. Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries energy. What do we get? Well, we get some strained communications, some misunderstandings in our conversations, I would say that we're not able to correctly articulate what it is that we actually think and feel, and our delivery of what it is that we're trying to kind of get across is not going to be received well. I would also say that there is a high probability that we are going to be a little bit insensitive with our words. Again, that Capricorn energy is a little bit cold, a little bit rigid. We're thinking and speaking matter-of-factly instead of emotionally speaking. And although, we just want to deal with life as it is, we have to have a little bit of tact in order to actually communicate our thoughts and our feelings to those that need to hear it. Now, this could definitely illuminate a lot of the indecision that we've been sitting in. And again, with Mars kind of preparing to go direct, there is this jitteriness. There is this impulsivity, if you will, to want to just jump into something new, to take action, to lash out, to release all of this pent-up energy and aggression. And we just don't know what to do with it. So the moon goes ahead, tries to help us out a bit by trining this time with the true node. A trine is a good energy. It's blending energy. And what do we know about the moon in Virgo? We just want to fix things. We just want to solve some problems. And through these squares that we just sat through, we're definitely going to be illuminated to the problem. That's the first step of solving a problem, is identifying the problem. So emotionally speaking, we're all cluster effed. We don't really want to feel like this. We want to come to some kind of decision. We want to move forward. And the true node, who's trying to get us on the right path to do just that, is helping us out big time, because we recognize where it is that we need to put a little bit more time, energy, and attention into solving some of these issues, especially when it comes to the matters of the heart. Now, the moon is going to bump into Venus in not the nicest way. And let me just say that this is a choice point, a learning opportunity, if you will. Now, this is likely going to come in the form of a trigger and activation from our personal relationships. Something's really going to set us off. Now, this situation, however it unfolds, it is either going to illuminate for us where it is that we're not happy, where it is that we don't feel safe, where it is that we're not really that stable in our personal relationships, or it's going to illuminate, yes, I enjoy this feeling. I feel like we're growing. I feel like we're healing. And of course, open us up to what it is we have to continue doing more of in order to build that solid foundation. I would say, though, because the moon is in Virgo and we're highly critical, highly judgmental, definitely picking things apart to get down to the nitty-gritty of why it is that we think and feel the way that we do, I would suspect that many of us are going to be illuminated to situations that need change and transformation and healing through being triggered and activated in not the nicest way. The moon is going to trine Mercury, another beautiful vibe, beautiful energy. We got some earth on earth happening here. And this is going to get us back on the same page. So our heart and our head, they're going to be in agreement. We're definitely sorting through and processing the not so nice thoughts and feelings and really analyzing and examining our situations. And of course, when we have situations arise that, put a huge focus on what it is that we no longer want to experience, well, then we start figuring out what it is that we would prefer to experience over what it is that we're currently experiencing. Sounds like a solution to me. This is going to help us kind of articulate our thoughts, our feelings a little bit better. If you're put in a situation to communicate your thoughts and feelings outside of yourself, or maybe clean up the messiness of the conversation that didn't go so well earlier in the day, this is going to help us out big time. Regardless of whether you are having a conversation outside of yourself or just a conversation with yourself, you can bet that we are going to gain a lot of insight and have a couple of aha moments on what it is that we have to do moving forward to resolve some of the emotional and mental conflict that we've been experiencing throughout the earlier part of the day. The moon is going to bump into Chiron, though, in not the nicest way. And let me just say that this is likely going to come as a choice point or a learning opportunity as well. Now, Chiron, being the wounded healer, yes, is going to illuminate our wounds. Why? Because we have to feel them before we can heal them. We need to grow through what it is that we're going through. And for many of us, we're having a little bit of an identity crisis here. We're having a little bit of a rebranding situation. We don't know who it is that we are, who it is that we need to be. We're trying to figure all this out. And emotionally speaking, we might feel a little bit demotivated, undetermined, uninspired, and that's okay. You have to sit in the rawness and the vulnerability of your confusion in order to figure out what is most important for you to focus on and what needs to be resolved first and foremost. The moon is going to make an interaction with Pluto, which is kind of an uncomfortable energy, but it's going to lead to good things. Pluto, of course, the great transformer, doing a very, very deep dive in our psyche, which the moon in Virgo just loves to do because, of course, that Virgo energy needs to pick things apart in the mental plane. And Pluto likes to go, even further than that and just dive into the unconscious programming, if you will, of our psyche. The moon coming together with Pluto is definitely going to intensify some things. We're going to be semi-obsessed, fixated, looped on our problems, on our inner dialogue. We're really pressurizing ourselves right now to fix everything. And although that might not feel so good, the Plutonian energy of being able to transform us and essentially shifting our mind space, shifting our emotions, shifting our, I'm going to say, physical body in how it is that we approach our lives, this is going to be a good indicator on where it is that change is needed the most. The moon is going to trine Uranus. This is a beautiful energy as well because Uranus likes to shock us. He likes to open up our minds. He likes to jolt us with an aha moment that we can't unknow, that essentially just changes our perspective and understanding of events gone by. And in that, because Uranus is retrograde in Taurus energy, we've been examining where it is that we're too hooked up, too fixated on keeping things the same. And even though we really like the predictability of keeping things the same, we're very uncomfortable in this rut that we've created. It worked for us once upon a time, no longer working for us now, having a hard time making the change, making the shift. But Uranian energy should give us that sudden jolt that is needed in order to open up, open our minds, have an aha moment, shift our focus, and easily adapt to the changes that we have been resisting. The moon is going to bump into Venus once again. This time it's a positive interaction. So we must have learned something throughout the day about our relationships, about what brings us happiness and joy, what makes us feel safe and secure. It should illuminate for us where it is that change is needed. Again, we're in a changing time here. And emotionally speaking, we should have been able to identify where the voids are, where the wounds are, where it is that we're expecting outside people to actually heal parts of us that we're unable to even identify within ourselves. And from that, we're going to have a huge perspective change, a huge aha moment where our emotional needs haven't been getting met and where it is that we need them to get met. And from this, we're going to be identifying what it is that we could be asking from those people that we deem to be of worth, of value, that we want to actually stick around. The last thing we got going on here today is Mercury bumping into Venus in a pretty awkward way as well. What I would like to say is that we're struggling to kind of get in alignment with our thoughts, with our feelings. Mercury's retrograde, so I mean, this shouldn't be a huge surprise to us. And we're trying really hard to pluck out the right words, not only for ourselves, but in conversations that might not have gone so well. And we're super sensitive. We're definitely in a situation where we're not receiving criticism or judgment of any kind very well at all. We're easily agitated, and, nobody is harder on us than we are on ourselves. So it's almost like when somebody comes at us with a little bit of criticism or judgment, it's almost like we are standing here saying, the audacity, how dare they speak to us? Now, keep in mind that, Mercury being retrograde in Capricorn energy is blunt, is to the point, logical, practical. It is what it is. Even if it hurts your feelings, it is what it is. However, Venus being in Aquarius energy means that she's a little bit more emotionally detached, just to see the bigger, broader perspective of the situation at hand without getting so involved emotionally that it clouds her judgment. However, we're just not focused. We're not articulating ourselves well. We're really not able to identify what it is that we're thinking, what it is that we're feeling. We know that we're agitated. We know that we don't like this. We know we want things to change, but we have no clue how to even go about identifying those particular circumstances. And there is an attempt where we want to understand each other and we want to be understood. However, the dialogue just isn't going to lead us to a happy-go-lucky resolution here today. So we do have to be a little bit mindful that, even with the best intent of wanting to help, wanting to heal some particular aspects within ourselves and with our relationships, that sometimes the words just don't come to us. Sometimes the opportunity to fully express ourselves is just missed because we're unable to fully understand what's going on in our inner realm. So how could we expect someone outside of us to understand what it is that we're not able to put into words? So just be cautious of this energy and just be mindful that just as much as you are feeling the funk, other people are feeling the funk too.